What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? I'm the Godless engineer, and I critically analyze apologist claims to give you the best arguments and information so that you can stand up and use your voice. Today's video is from the line. We're going to be hearing from a caller that's decided to call in and try to prove either God to us or some other kind of crazy idea. So, if you want to fuck around and find out how crazy this call gets, then please stay tuned.
So, Leonard in Germany's a theist calling, pronouns of they, trying to convert us to their religion. So,
Hey,
Leonard, what is Leonard? What is your religion, and why should we convert to it?
Yes, I'm a Buddhist, and you previously said that you have no problem with like secular Buddhists, and maybe there are some that do, but I certainly don't. So, what actually, why shouldn't you be one of those secular Buddhists?
Well, I just asked why, what religion and why I should believe it or accept it, and all you said was Buddhism, and then asked why I shouldn't. That's not how this works, Leonard. That's not how this works, Leonard. You are advocating. Hang on.
Wait.
You are advocating for a religion. You need to tell us what it is, not just, oh, it's Buddhism. What specific view do you have, and why should we share it? And is it important?
Okay.
Because if, for example, you and I share a view, and you think that view is a part of Buddhism, but I think that view is just part of secular humanism, why is it important for me, if we both accept that view, to say I'm a Buddhist? So there's a bunch for you.
Okay. May I elaborate? Okay. So the thing is, religion mobilizes you also said this, yes, and the reason why this mega gaining influence is because they are mobilized by religion, by the dangerous homophobic Christianity. And so Leonard, there is another religion, Buddhism, and the religion mobilized, and Buddhism, unlike Christianity, you can be forgiven when you're dead. You tell it's Buddhist.
Okay, I'm going to mute you since whatever reason you can't. I'm having difficulty understanding what you're saying. Did you say that MAGA, like Make America Great, is mobilized by religion? Did I hear that correctly? Is that what you were saying?
I'm saying that religion mobilizes, and Buddhism, reflects very moral points, but like first of all, they are not forever. Please, let
Leonard.
me talk. Okay.
Leonard, I need you to explain. Give me a position that is part of the Buddhism that you're advocating for, and why I should accept it. I don't need to hear how religion mobilizes. I don't give a shit. I need to hear. Here's a Buddhist position, and here's why you should accept it. But you can start with here's a Buddhist position, and then ask us if we do accept it, because we might already.
Okay, women's rights. Mahayana Buddhism believes that men and women can equally be enlightened. You agree on that? Do you?
I have no idea what enlightenment is, but I don't need Buddhism in any way to hold to equal access and equal opportunity amongst genders.
Yes, but religion is a very strong tool, a very powerful tool.
I don't know what you're saying.
I think that religion is a very powerful tool.
Right. We understand that religion's a powerful tool, but I don't really care about as far as like whether or not I would be. As far as whether or not I would adhere to the religion, like I don't care how powerful of a tool it is. Can you maybe, I know Matt just asked this, but can you just state a position that's unique to the religious aspect of Buddhism that you think is like adds to the secularist stuff?
Trust me. Trans people, there are more than two genders. We agree on that, right?
Okay, Leonard, I'm gonna mute you again. I don't need to hear anything at all about MAGA or trans folks or religions mobilizing or religions being a powerful tool. Genuinely, don't know how else to say this, do not give a fuck. What John and I would like to know is, what do you believe and why should we also believe it? So just state one position that is a position of the Buddhism you're advocating for. Just one. What's the position?
The position and forgiveness, you can be forgiven for all your deeds at every time when you're dead, that no matter how bad you were, the Sakyamuni forgave the man who wanted to kill him. And yes, and the thing with forgiveness is by
I have no idea. I have no idea what you're talking about. What is the position that you're saying?
That you can be forgiven.
Hang on. Can you shut up? Can you shut up until I'm done asking the question again and then go? So the question is this: as succinctly as possible, state one position, just a sentence that says, my one Buddhist belief is, followed by whatever that belief is.
I don't have one single view.
Leonard, if you have 45 views or 45,000 views that are all tied to Buddhism, I only need you to tell me one. Just state one. I'm not saying you only have one. I'm saying let's just fucking start with one. So when I unmute, give me one position that you advocate as a Buddhist, and then we'll tell you whether or not we agree with it. And if we do agree with it, then we're done with that particular issue. If we don't agree with it, then we can have a discussion about why we should or shouldn't. This is the last chance I'm giving you on this. Name one position very clearly in one sentence that you advocate for as a Buddhist.
Yes, that you can be forgiven from your sins.
So your position as a Buddhist is that you can be forgiven for your sins.
At every time. Yes. Better than in Christianity.
Leonard.
Sorry.
Leonard, am I correct that what you're saying is that your Buddhist position is that you can be forgiven for your sins?
Yes. One.
Okay.
Yes.
What's a sin, and why do I need to be forgiven of it? And how does Buddhism forgive?
Murder. When you're a mass murderer.
Okay. So if I murder people, Buddhism allows me to be forgiven for that? How?
Better than Christianity. When you...
I didn't ask anything at all. Shut up. I didn't ask anything at all about whether it's better than Christianity. Hello?
Hello?
How does Buddhism forgive me for murder?
Right. But when you how do I say, when you do something, when you murder, but then you do something to show that you're sorry, like I don't know,
So let me ask this: is it if I go out and I murder my neighbor right now, but directly after I murder my neighbor, I psychically transmit how really sorry I feel to my God?
No, it's not that.
Does that mean that it's like it never happened? Like is that the concept here? I'm just trying to figure it out.
Forgiveness here is like it's like a what it's like in liposuction. You have to work harder. And
You have to work harder.
Like liposuction. What the hell does that mean?
Like
like
life.
atoning.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out like what is the religious tenet here as far as like sins go, because coming from my perspective, I see sins as transgressions against God, so it's not necessarily like some morally abhorrent action that somebody does. It's a transgression against a God in particular, and so that can be a wide range of things that are considered sins. And so it's also different as to how you get salvation for those sins. And I'm just trying to figure out exactly how that works in your particular religion, because it just seems like, oh, if you're really sorry about it, then you're forgiven of it. And it's not like, okay. Sorry if I'm misunderstanding here.
Not like this. Yes, like even when you have to gain trust. That's like how it works. So we pay for this. Like atoning, yeah.
So what's weird, Leonard, is that you talk about forgiveness and atonement. At no point do those concepts make any sense to me under Buddhism. Those are more like Christian concepts. So
they stole it from Buddhism.
What?
Jesus Christ.
Leonard, if I murder someone, how does Buddhism get me forgiveness for murder, and how does that help anybody?
You know what?
We feel the same way, Leonard.
Leonard, how does Buddhism forgive me, and how does that help anybody?
Help anybody?
If I murder John, if I murder John right now, how do I get forgiveness in Buddhism, and what good does that do me or John or anybody else?
When you give the family money, a lot of money. Like for example, when you give the family a lot of money as a kind of
John, John, I'm sorry. Leonard, don't ever call me again. Okay. That's as absolute beyond Zen as I can be. That caller is not representing any form of Buddhism that is consistent with anything that I've looked up. When you start talking about MAGA and religious power and how it's kind of like liposuction, and then you can't offer any clarification at all, then either we have a massive language barrier, or we have just a prank call. I don't know, but I'll tell you this, Leonard. If your Buddhism could forgive me for murdering John, I still don't want anything to do with it. I don't understand what that means. John's dead. Forgiving me doesn't bring John back or help him out in any way. It doesn't help out John's family in any way. I'm pretty sure Casey doesn't care if Buddhism forgives me for killing John. I don't think she will. And I don't think Buddhism forgiving me will do her any good. It's just bizarre. I don't know what's going on lately. It's like there are no theists out there who have any interest in honestly defending their beliefs in any reasonable sense. Instead, it's, oh, I want to convert you to Buddhism, but everything I say sounds nothing at all like Buddhism, and I can't even answer the first, most basic, simple question. Oh, what's one tenet of Buddhism? It can forgive you. Really? Because the notion of Buddhism isn't a thing about forgiveness, and it doesn't have a concept of sin. If anything, it's tied to the originating Hindu notions of karma. And I mean, that's where Buddhism kind of originated from, was that. So I don't understand. I have difficulty taking someone seriously when they use the language in English of sin and forgiveness that's tied to Christian theism and other similar theisms, and then try to suggest that this is a part of Buddhism. I don't believe you, Leonard. I don't understand you, Leonard, but at a minimum, we're not going to make any progress on the show. So what I really need is for people to call in and say, here's what I believe. Here's why I believe it. Here's why I think you should believe it too.
That'd be really nice if we could get somebody that like talks it up big in the chat there to call in. But it kind of seems like they always run scared when it's like, do you want to defend that position? And they're like, I've got stuff to do. Well, heathens, that's going to be it for this call today. If you want more of this kind of content, you can hit up the links down in the description to go and subscribe to the line here on YouTube. We're always producing great live content where we take callers from people. We're also adding new shows all the time. So please go down there, subscribe to the line so that you can get more of this kind of content. I'm not sure if this was 20 seconds or anything like that, but yada, yada, yada. Jimmy, go fuck yourself.